The auction house on Kepler 4482b reeked of desperation and disinfectant. James Sullivan stood among the crowd of traders, prospectors, and less savory characters, his worn leather jacket doing little to ward off the station's perpetual chill. He wasn't here to buy, just to observe, to understand the ugly underbelly of the frontier colonies that the Earth Defense Coalition pretended didn't exist. The auctioneer, a Vrotix with mottled purple skin, gestured toward a small figure huddled in a containment field. Lot 73, Cytherian female, approximately 20 standard cycles, defective, completely mute, cannot communicate. Starting bid, 50 credits. James felt his jaw tighten. 50 credits, the price of a decent meal. The figure in the field was humanoid, her skin a pale blue-silver that seemed to shimmer under the harsh lights. Her head was bowed, dark hair falling across her face, and she wore nothing but tattered rags. 50, someone shouted, laughing. 60, another voice called. James's hand moved before his brain caught up. 500, the room fell silent. The Vrotix's eyes widened, all four of them. 500 credits to the human. Going once, twice, sold. 20 minutes later, James led the girl, Lisa according to her identification chip, onto his small transport ship. She moved mechanically, her eyes downcast, a neural suppression collar blinking at her throat. The sight of it made James's stomach turn. Listen, he said gently, kneeling to her level as the airlock sealed behind them. I'm going to remove that collar. You're free. I'm taking you to the Coalition embassy on... Her eyes snapped up to meet his, and he saw something there that froze him. Pure, calculating intelligence. James reached for the collar's release mechanism. His fingers had barely touched the cold metal when her voice, clear, urgent, and decidedly not mute, cut through the silence. Run. James jerked backward instinctively. In the same instant, the collar exploded with a sharp crack, releasing a burst of electromagnetic energy that would have fried his nervous system if he'd been touching it. The blast left his fingers tingling even from a foot away. Lisa gasped, her hands flying to her throat where the collar had been. Burn marks marred her silver-blue skin. Thank you, she whispered, her voice raspy. Thank you for listening. You can speak, James breathed, his heart still pounding. Always could. She looked up at him, tears streaming down her face. We all can. The Cytherian language operates on frequencies most species can't hear. They assumed we were animals, mute, simple. Her laugh was bitter. They never realized we were screaming the whole time. James felt rage, building in his chest the same righteous fury that had driven him to leave Earth's comfortable colonies for the frontier in the first place. How many others? Thousands. Maybe tens of thousands. Lisa's hands were shaking, scattered across the outer sectors. The slavers discovered that our physiology makes us perfect for hazardous environment work. Radiation doesn't harm us like it does other species, so they take us from our world, collar us to keep us compliant, and sell us to die in toxic mines and reactor cores. And the collar? Tamper evident. Anyone tries to remove it, boom. Discourages rescue attempts. She touched the burns gingerly. I've been learning Standard Galactic for 3 years, listening, waiting for someone who might care enough to try. James stood, his mind racing. He'd seen corruption before, witnessed injustice, but this was systematic genocide, dressed up as commerce. I need to contact the Coalition. If they knew, they know. Lisa's voice was flat. The Earth Coalition embassy on Kepler Station processes the paperwork. Livestock is the official designation. Legally, we're not recognized as sentient. The words hit James like a physical blow. His own government. His own species. Then we change that. How? Lisa's expression was hollow, defeated. You're one human with a small ship. They're an empire built on our backs. James walked to his console and began typing furiously. I'm one human with a small ship and a very large network of journalists, activists, and politicians who've been looking for a smoking gun to take down the frontier slave trade. He glanced back at her. And now I have an eyewitness who can testify. More than that, I have a victim who can speak for her people. For the first time, hope flickered in Lisa's eyes. You'd do that? Risk everything? Lady, I just spent 500 credits on what I thought was a humanitarian rescue. I'm already committed. James pulled up a star chart. Besides, humanity didn't claw its way to the stars just to become the monsters we used to read about in history books. We're supposed to be better than this. You bought me for 500 credits, Lisa said softly, when you could have walked away, when you could have let someone else take me for 50. She stood, wobbling slightly, then straightened her spine. The Zetherian people have a saying, measure a species not by their weapons but by what they do when they hold power over the powerless. James felt the weight of her words. Humanity had power now, military might, political influence, technological advancement. But what were they doing with it? Some like him tried to help. Others exploited. The galaxy was watching, judging, measuring. Then let's show them what humanity can be, he said. Let's bring your people home. Lisa smiled, a genuine, radiant expression that transformed her face. When I shouted run, you listened. You didn't question, didn't hesitate. Most species wouldn't have trusted the warning of a supposed mute slave. Most species didn't grow up on Earth, James replied, firing up the engines. We've got a saying too. When someone tells you to run, you ask how far while you're already moving. As the ship broke orbit, heading toward the inner colonies and the journalists James trusted, Lisa stood at the viewport watching the auction house shrink behind them. For the first time in 3 years, she allowed herself to believe that freedom, real freedom, for all her people, might actually be possible. All because one human decided that doing the right thing was worth more than 50 credits, or 500, or even his own safety. That, she thought, was very human indeed.